Living on a yacht is often pictured as hanging out on anchor in dreamy destinations. The reality of actively cruising can be quite different, and you'll often find yourself figuring out how to fix your boat in all sorts of circumstances. There's basic maintenance such as sewing up your sails, and then there's the times when you're fixing your boat on the fly. This week, with the cyclone imminent, the race was on to get our anchor winch back in working order before conditions deteriorated.
Yeah, so we're just heading back in from the reef. That's another great little adventure over. Unfortunately, time's always too short out there. Weather windows are just not long enough. Anyway, it's going to blow 30 knots tomorrow, so we're heading to Burnett Heads for a bit of cover and re-provision and get ready to do it all over again.
Good morning. So it's just around about sort of 5:30 in the morning, and we are heading up the river at Bundaberg.
We've just had to catch the incoming tide to sneak up here, and it's a beautiful little cruise.
Yeah, it's really lovely. The river's got nice green trees along it and paddocks, and there's quite a few people out crabbing this time of morning. With the cyclone hanging off the coast and obvious signs of damage from previous floods, we were pretty keen for a quick turnaround in order to keep Sarean and ourselves safe. It's mysteriously quiet on board. I wonder what my honey's up to. What are you up to, my love? Up here. Up here. Oh, hello.
Hello. Oh, I'm just doing a little sail repair. Just got this little bit of webbing letting go around the clue. I thought it's not really a big job.
Yeah.
So I just took the old
got the old sailor's palm out.
And saved me pulling the sail off for a small job.
Rightio.
I thought it'll take me half an hour just to stitch this up as opposed to pulling the whole sail off and setting up old Rexy and all that mucking around. I thought I'll just do him by hand.
Good on you, babe.
Yeah.
Rightio, good morning. Now for the last week or so we've been tracking a cyclone that's been moving up and around and about, caused big floods in Townsville, went off to Vanuatu and is now heading back in our direction. So yeah, we are moving off from the river this morning. Well, we're getting out of the crowded anchorage that we're in, and we're taking ourselves further down the river to a place where hopefully there will be less vessels, and we're also going to check out a creek that we might be able to hide up. So I'll just show you how we figure all that out and why we decide to make our moves. Come with me. Okay, so I think we've talked to you about this before. This is Windy TY, which is a program that you can have a look at. It covers wind, rain, snow, temperature, currents, all sorts of information anywhere in the world. And we're currently looking at Australia. This is the east coast of Australia. This is Vanuatu and Newcastle, and this is the current cyclone Oma that we've been tracking for about a week or so. She went up to Townsville, flooded Townsville, came out to Newcastle, gave it a visit, and is now heading in our direction. We are currently sitting about there, and it's at the moment we haven't really been able to decide whether to run north or south because the predictions have been very difficult, and they've been saying it could either go north or south, so we haven't really known where to hook to. But because the full moon is gone, and I have a theory that cyclones won't cross unless they're on a full moon with the big tides, we don't think this one's actually going to cross, but it is going to sit off and cause us some strong winds, so we are going to move. Now, how do we decide where we're going to move to? We go to Google Maps, and this is the Bundaberg River, and we are currently sitting here, which is pretty much near the Bundaberg CBD, which has been very handy for us. But we're going to move. We've had a look at all the different creeks. There's this little guy here which would be an option apart from the fact that it's got a bridge right there. So we don't want to hang out near a bridge. That wouldn't be very good for our mast. I did have a look at this one. Darren went down and had a look at it yesterday, which does look overgrown with trees. There's a little creek in here. It's got some decent depth in it, but we'd have to take our chainsaw down there that we don't have and knock away a bunch of trees to get in there. So we have found this one, which is further down the river, away from all the boats, which is great. And it's called Rubiana Creek, and we're going to pop down there and have a look. So this is looking a good option. It looks like it's got a reasonable depth here. We're not sure about the depth here, but we'll get in the tender and sound it out. And yeah, we've got mangroves here to tie off to. Looks like it might be about 40 metres wide. And yeah, it's looking like it could be a good option for us, so we're going to go and check that out. Okay, so here we are. We've just come along to investigate this little creek, see what we can, whether we can get in here, see what the story is.
Okay, 9 feet.
On this one, we're sort of 50-50 come in or stay on anchor, and the reason is because a lot of these trees, don't know, that they seem to be broken off, and yeah, broken off. And it's quite wide, and there's a long distance to travel from one side of the boat over to a tree that's broken off. But yeah, we could definitely do it. We'd have to tie our lines together. We'll see what the weather's doing tomorrow morning, see what the wind strength is expected to be, and see how many other boats turn up. We'll ponder it.
Yeah, well, currently we can get in here on a low tide, so it's not too bad. There's plenty of water in here.
Yeah, we've got 25 metre lengths cut off on our lines. It would take all of that to tie over to a tree, which would be fine. We'll just ponder it. So with the creek being a fail, we decided to head back upriver to reprovision so that we could make our run once Cyclone Oma's predicted path became more obvious. That is, until the anchor winch failed, leaving us in the precarious position of being stuck near the mouth of a river, open to a large swell that was forming just offshore. Time was running short, and we were both feeling the pressure of being exposed to the wrath of the storm. So having one of those mornings this morning on board, unfortunately. Oh, we were heading off downriver. Only problem is our anchor winch has failed. It's dead altogether, and Darren's just about to pull it apart and have a look and see what the issue is. I'm kind of feeling a bit we're a bit worried that that might be the end of it, because this is probably the third time we've serviced it in about as many years, and it's the anchor winch that's been on the boat since, it's over 20 years old. So we're sort of worried that we might have an actually dead anchor winch on our hands, and that is a very expensive replacement. And I have to admit, I'm feeling a bit responsible for it myself, because not for the anchor winch issues, but because of my health issues, we're spending a lot of money on repairing my health, which means that we are not spending on anything else as much as we have to. So all the essential items are being pushed back, and all of the maintenance items are being pushed back, and we've broken, there's a lot of stuff that's been breaking. And McDazzle is very clever, and he manages to fix a lot of stuff by himself, which is great. But yeah, we've got broken cameras that need replacing before we take off offshore, and we've got quite a few boat parts that need replacing. And now possibly the anchor winch, which is a really costly spend. And I was sort of feeling like if we weren't spending all this money on my health, then we would have the money to go and get the parts that we need. So I'm feeling a bit responsible this morning. This has been weighing on me for quite a bit actually, because you know, it's I've been a very expensive wife in the last year or so. Operations and all sorts of things going on to try and sort out my health, and yeah. Anyway, can't dwell on that too much. We just have to keep working hard and trying to keep our income coming in, trying to make income so we can balance out that equation. And we are going to set to and bring the old anchor witch to pieces and see what's going on. So yes, the challenges of cruising. Anyway, I know that McDazzle can McDazzle it. It'll be something really simple.
In typical McDazzle style, he began the troubleshooting process trying to suss out the cause of our woes. Turns out the brushes for the motor were totally worn, giving it no source of power. They needed replacing, but we didn't have a soldering iron large enough to tackle the job, so it was back to the drawing board.
So just to get us going, I've moved the spring over just a little bit, and that'll let it push down on the brush, and that'll get us out of trouble. And I've got some new brushes. The only problem is I don't think my soldering iron's big enough to cope with the job. So, but anyway, this will get us going for the minute, which is great news.
Okay, well, I'll just get you to show everyone up close what's going on.
So that's where the brush is attached to. He soldered onto that bolt that runs through the back of the motor, and our issue, even though we've got spare brushes, I don't think my soldering iron's quite big enough to cope with that. If I was in the middle of nowhere, I'd probably have a crack at it anyway, but because we're fairly close to civilization, I'll just be happy to get the thing going, and we'll get a soldering iron down the road and we'll have another crack at it.
A bigger solder iron?
Bigger soldering iron.
Okay.
Yeah.
So of course, you know, it didn't end there. Come on, let's have a look. What's he up to? What have you done, my honey?
Yeah, I'm just I'm just pondering a couple of ideas whether I take this, that's where the brush is soldered onto, and maybe if I can take that out of there, and if I can unsolder it with the iron that I've got, that means I can solder the new brushes back in. That's sort of where I'm up to. That's what I'm thinking about doing. So this is the power wire to the brush, and you can see how worn that brush is. So I've worked out that I can actually resolder this with the little soldering iron that I've got. So I'm going to stick a new one on there, and that should get us out of trouble. Oh, there we go.
Beauty. What's happened? Gas torch.
Oh, you know what happens when you're halfway through a job and you run out of gas.
Lucky we got another gas refill.
I got another gas refill.
Need to get some more of that stuff.
Oh, I've had this for 20 years.
We seem to be going through quite a bit of it lately.
Rightio, I just got enough heat into it and just about to apply a bit of solder in there. So it's running in there quite nice. I think that's pretty good. I think that's good. Beautiful. Excellent.
Good job, my love, you're a champion.
That's fantastic. The old cigarette lighter from the old tobacconist, $5. They're a great thing.
Saved our pretty little asses.
Absolutely. Haven't done much smoking lately, but it's pretty good for soldering. Bit of bush mechanics. Yeah, another couple of years.
So if you're wondering what to get your husband for his next birthday, get him a set of emery boards. Darren's often stealing mine. Who knew he was into making things so beautiful?
I know.
True though, it's very handy to have lots of emery boards or emery paper on board. In this case, we've been using it to clean up the armature. I'll just show you.
Coming up a tree.
Beautiful, babe.
Yeah.
Like brand new.
I wonder whether I can get my fingernails looking this good when I'm finished.
Happy to give you a manicure, babe. You just got to stop biting your nails.
Yeah, I don't know whether you can fix those little babies or not.
Okay, so we've got the winch back together again, and McDazzle's just going to do a bit of a test to see if the brushes are good and the solders are good. Here we go. Yeah, baby. Yoo-hoo! Another saving, my honey. You're creaming it this week.
Thank you for watching. To help support the making of these videos, consider becoming a patron of our channel, where you can connect with us in real time, access our consultancy service, and come sailing with us. Check our website for more, and subscribe to get notified of our next adventure.